When Toyota first brought the original GR Yaris to Malaysia back in 2020, it didn't take long for every single unit to be sold out. Car enthusiasts went crazy for it, and who could blame them? Toyota had announced that only 25,000 of these WRC homologated hot hatch would ever be produced worldwide. That kind of exclusivity instantly turned it into a collector's dream. But fast forward to today, Toyota has just unveiled an updated version of the GR Yaris. And let's be honest, this news made a lot of people who missed out on the first batch very happy. Unfortunately, not everyone was thrilled. Those who bought the pre-facelift version weren't too pleased because what was once seen as a potential long-term investment might not hold the same value anymore. Since Toyota decided to make the GR Yaris more accessible in the market, they've also made it easier to drive, thanks to the introduction of an automatic transmission. With this new option, even those who can't drive a manual can finally experience what a proper hot hatch feels like in today's world. Not too long ago, I actually requested both the automatic and manual variant of the GR Yaris from Toyota for review because I really want to find out what else Toyota has done to improve an already impressive machine. So, let's find out together. With that, welcome back to Carsick.my for another review video. From a distance, it's actually quite hard to tell what's new. The updated GR Yaris still carries the same familiar silhouette, and honestly, that's exactly what makes it so special for fans who love its compact, rarely inspired form. But once you get up close, the changes start to reveal themselves. They are not drastic, but definitely noticeable. Let's start with the front. The updated GR Yaris now wears a more aggressive front bumper, designed not just for looks but function. It channels more air into the radiator, helping with cooling, while giving the car an even sportier stance. And right behind that bumper, you'll spot the GR4 logo painted across the intercooler, a subtle but bold reminder of the performance pedigree that makes this car so special. Moving to the rear, this is where you'll instantly notice one of the biggest visual updates on the new GR Yaris. The taillights have been completely redesigned and are now connected by a light bar. It's a small detail, but one that makes a big difference, instantly signaling that this is the updated GR Yaris. That connected design gives the car a wider, more planted stance, perfectly complementing those muscular wheel arches and adding a modern touch to the overall look. You'll also spot a new shark fin antenna on top. It's mostly a cosmetic change, not something that affects performance, but it helps tie the design together nicely. And that wraps up all the exterior changes on the updated GR Yaris. Subtle, but effective in keeping this hot hatch looking fresh and aggressive. For the interior, the changes on the GR Yaris are even more significant than what you see on the outside. When I first saw photos of the new interior, I have to admit, I wasn't the biggest fan. The picture made it look a bit off. But seeing it in real life is a completely different story. The interior feels so much better in person than the photo suggested. Toyota has made the cockpit even more driver-focused than before, more purposeful, more engaging. And here's something worth noting. This new dashboard design is now standard across both the manual and automatic variants. With this new dashboard, the GR Yaris finally steps up its game inside the cabin. You now get a brand new 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, and the infotainment system, on the other hand, is a 9-inch display. Some people might prefer massive displays, but for me, this setup is perfect. It's simple, clean, and most importantly, not distracting. With this larger digital instrument cluster, the GR Yaris borrowed the same graphics first seen on the GR Corolla. These visuals have made their way into the Yaris, bringing it right in line with its modern-day sibling. Whether you go for the automatic or manual, both versions share the same cluster, with only subtle graphic tweaks to tell them apart. The infotainment unit has also been improved. It's smoother, more responsive, and while the screen size isn't massive, it delivers all the essentials: Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, both wireless. There's only a reverse camera on board, but honestly, in a car this compact, that's all you need. And to round it all off, the GR Yaris now comes with a nice speaker sound system. It's not a big name setup, but don't let that fool you, it sounds surprisingly good. Other than that, the interior looks quite similar to the pre-facelift model, but there are a few key upgrades worth talking about. Toyota actually listened to owners' feedback and decided to lower the front seats. These small tweaks makes a big difference. It gives you a sportier driving position and makes the seats a lot more comfortable, especially for taller drivers. Personally, I love the new seating position. Whether you're in the automatic or the manual variant, it really makes you feel like you're sitting in something truly sporty. And to top it all off, the seat belts now come in this maroon shade. It's a small detail, but it adds the extra touch of sportiness to the cabin's ambience. Under the hood, the GR Yaris continues to pack that punchy turbocharged 3-cylinder engine we all know and love. But this time, Toyota has tuned things up a notch, giving it even more power to make it more exciting than ever. And here's the best part, you can now choose between an automatic or a manual transmission. So whether you're all about control or convenience, there's a GR Yaris just for you. Power is still delivered to all four wheels through Toyota's legendary GR4 all-wheel drive system. Let's take a look at the performance figures for the new GR Yaris. Even with the bump in horsepower and torque, can you really feel the difference? Honestly, for someone who doesn't own the car outright, I can't say that the power increase makes it that much faster in real-world driving. But on paper, the numbers tell a different story. The manual GR Yaris now hits the 100 km/h mark 0.1 seconds quicker than before. And if you really want to accelerate even harder, check this out. The automatic variant can do it under 5 seconds. That's seriously impressive, especially when you remember that people used to think manuals were always quicker than automatics. What really stands out this time isn't just the power boost, it's the refinement. The GR Yaris has come a long way in terms of NVH, or noise vibration harshness. Yes, it still packs that distinctive 3-cylinder engine, but the difference in smoothness is night and day. Those typical vibrations you used to feel, they've now been significantly reduced. So if you are just cruising around town, the latest GR Yaris no longer feels like a chore. It's genuinely more comfortable, yet still ready to unleash that rally-bred energy when you want it. And to keep that performance consistent, Toyota has even added an intercooler spray, cooling the engine when needed. But what I really want to focus on here is the difference between the automatic and manual transmission. If you are just a regular road user, you might be wondering, how big of a difference does it actually make? Let me break it down for you. Let's start with the automatic variant. This one comes with an 8-speed torque converter transmission. The first thing you'll notice is just how much easier the GR Yaris is to drive now. Even if you don't have much experience, you can hop in and feel comfortable right away. The gear shifts are smooth and they're quick enough for everyday driving. Of course, you can't expect it to shift like a dual clutch transmission, but it's definitely faster and more convenient than the manual. With the addition of an extra gear, the automatic GR Yaris brings two major advantages over its manual sibling. First up, efficiency. Thanks to Toyota's clever inclusion of an extra overdrive gear, the automatic GR Yaris is actually more fuel efficient than the manual. The extra gear really shines during long distance cruising, keeping the revs low and saving fuel along the way. Now, I get it, fuel economy probably isn't the first thing on your mind when you're behind the wheel of a hot hatch like this, but it's still a welcome bonus. The second big advantage, acceleration. With no human shifting involved, the computer takes full control, firing off lightning fast gear changes and getting the GR Yaris up to speed quicker than ever. Now let's talk about the manual variant, my personal favorite version of the GR Yaris. There's just something special about rolling your own gears. It adds that extra layer of challenge and engagement every time you drive. You decide when to shift, how long to hold the gear, and when to let the engine sing. Every single shift feels rewarding, especially when you nail it perfectly. When I took it up towards Kuala Kelawang, I genuinely had the best time of my life. The drive was so pure and fulfilling, something I didn't quite feel with the automatic. And that, right there, just solidifies it for me. The manual GR Yaris isn't just a car, it's an experience. That's why for me, the manual will always be the one. Being a performance hot hatch, you'd expect the GR Yaris to have a pretty firm ride, and yes, it does. But here's the thing, Toyota has definitely made some upgrades to the suspension. Compared to the pre-facelift model, this new version feels so much more composed. The old GR Yaris used to get a little bumpy over uneven roads, but now it feels far more settled, even when the surface isn't perfect. And speaking of the steering, it's still as sharp as I remember. The car reacts instantly to every input. You can feel exactly what the front tires are doing through the wheel. It's so communicative, it just makes you want to keep driving. Combine that with its short wheelbase, and the GR Yaris just dances through corners like a ballet dancer, precise, balanced, and full of energy. As a true performance hatch, the GR Yaris doesn't just deliver power, it also gives you the control to match. The car comes equipped with a strong set of brakes that works beautifully with the chassis. Step on them and you'll feel an immediate confident bite. Despite that power, the brakes are easy to modulate, perfectly tuned for both spirited driving and daily commutes. Every press of the pedal feels reassuring and precise. For 2025, Toyota has gone a step further by introducing Level 2 driver assistance systems for the GR Yaris lineup. Whether you go for the automatic or the manual variant, the Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, or ADAS, are nearly identical across both versions. Here are the ADAS features available on the new GR Yaris. By bringing the GR Yaris back to the market, Toyota is giving more car enthusiasts a chance to own a truly remarkable piece of engineering. And now, with the addition of an automatic variant, the GR Yaris has become more accessible to a wider range of buyers. Priced at $316,000 for the manual and $326,000 for the automatic, you really can't go wrong with either choice. Sure, it's not exactly cheap for such a small car, but the GR Yaris was never meant for regular buyers. It's for the true enthusiasts, the ones who understand what this car represents. After driving both versions, I still prefer the manual. It's just so rewarding when you nail every gear shifts. But if this were my only car, I might just go for the automatic, for convenience sake. Either way, the GR Yaris remains one of the most thrilling hot hatches you can buy today. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please leave a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more future review videos. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. To find out more about the Toyota GR Yaris, head over to my website carsick.my. Hope to see you soon. Bye.